All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, let's just dive right into this GTC custom knife. This is the reduced Airborne. Was sent in to me from a friend, Alex, with a couple of other cool knives. You have your certificate of authenticity. Tells you a little bit about the knife here. We'll just toss that off to the side. This is a cool knife. And I have heard of GTC. I've seen pictures of them. I have friends that own some, but I've never gotten to handle one. So I'm excited for that. And while it may not be a knife for me, aesthetically pleasing, aesthetically at the end, once you see it all, I think it has some cool features that I would love to see on some other knives. Okay. It is a flipper, but there is really this hidden flipper tab. It is a spring loaded flipper. I think that's kind of cool. Now, for me, the way I open knives, I usually, let me zoom out, grab a flipper knife here. Just grab the Kubi because it's closest one to me. I usually, and people complain and bitch about it all the time, but that's, whatever. I don't put my finger on it and give it a lot of pressure and then fire it. No, I just pick up the knife and I come flying in from nowhere, right? I don't rest my finger there first. I've got a lot of comments about that. And most of the comments are kind of on the negative side. I don't understand. Why do you care how I open a knife? Just funny to me. So that doesn't really work here. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, okay? But I'm getting used to it. I've been handling this for a little while, and I think it's cool. So the blade shape, not really my favorite, okay? A total personal preference. Alex, the owner, really likes it, and when we were chatting, he kind of compared it to the Battle. Let me grab one. And one of the things I like about the Battle is this secondary point here. And that's just really common on most Tonto blades, right? I use this a lot for opening boxes because it will just go in really nicely. It's not going to cut too deep or anything like that. Alex does the same thing right here. He can just push that down, peel open the box, the packaging, the whatever, and it works really well. So you're not going in too deep or anything like that. So very nice grind on the blade. I love that pivot. You have orange G10 and carbon fiber inlays. So it's like a double inlay, which is super cool. These are handmade customs out of Brazil. So I think it's the first Brazilian made knife I've ever done. Still proprietary hardware back here as well. And your pivot again. Very sterile, clean blade. No logos, no blade steels, no nothing. I like that. And then the frame lock is really interesting. Normally on a frame lock, this is a bolster lock, if you will, but usually you just grab it from the very top and there's no frame around it. Here, this is part of the frame. So you have to kind of grab it from inside. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And I think it's really cool. It does take a little bit of getting used to. As you use it, it's just not natural. The spring flipper tab, the lock bar is a little unusual, but the lock bar doesn't really get in the way much. It's pretty intuitive, I guess is a good word. This does run on bearings, and it's just kind of cool. So a couple of specs. It's 4 3/8 closed, 7.5 inches overall with a 3.2 inch blade. Now, what's interesting about that is it does not feel small in my hand at all. Here's a Spyderco Delica, which is slightly smaller, but feels immensely smaller. This feels tiny to me. This feels like a normal size knife. It feels good in the hand. The pocket clip works really well. The lock bar, everything about it functions really good. And I don't even think or feel that it's too small of a knife. And normally, if you're at 3 1/4 or under, I pretty much discount it and think it's too small. But you get 3.2 inch blade, 3.2 inch blade. CPM 154, weighs in at 4.6 ounces, runs on bearings. 0.005 behind the edge. The edge is tiny. I could barely measure it. It's so small. It's relatively sharp, but this is something that Alex carries and uses. So it's got some use on it. And the blade still holds up really well. CPM 154 is a fantastic user blade material. So GTC stands for Gustavo T. Cecchini, I think it is, out of Brazil. And forgive me if I am pronouncing that wrong. Goes by Gus. Don't know what his middle name is. I didn't search that hard to find. But I think it's a cool knife. I'm glad Alex sent it over and got to let me check it out. He asked me if I had done a GTC before, and I said I thought I had. And then I went and looked, and this is the first GTC. And as I mentioned, I think the first Brazilian knife. Obviously, I like the shape and the size of the battle a little better. That's personal preference, guys. Just because I don't like the way a knife looks doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. So here it is with a Sharpie, the Spyderco Delica again, and the Kubi that I pulled out earlier as a Tonto comparison. So it's not much smaller than the Kubi, a little bit, maybe a quarter. I think this is like 3.5 inches, give or take. So yeah, there you go. I think these are cool. I hope to get some more GTCs to show and explain to you guys, because it's something I was not familiar with. So I really do like getting knives that I've never seen or handled before, because it's fun. So there you go. Alex, thank you so much. Now, Alex does have a YouTube channel. I don't think he's really trying to promote it or do anything with it, but I'll put a link to it down below just if you want to go check him out. It's a small channel. I mean, I'm still a small channel, but his is a little smaller. So, but yeah, go check it out. He's got some cool stuff on there. Probably some of the same knives that I'm going to be filming in the next few days. So, hey, that's how it goes. But I think it's good to get different perspectives from different people on the same knife. I know that I like to, if I'm going to buy a knife or something, I like to hear 3 or 4 or 5 different people's opinions on what they like about it, what they don't like about it, before I make a decision for myself sometimes. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day.